Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers League, presented by Subway. I am your new caster of the day, Desirux, taking over in the play-by-play role for Mazel. Great to join you, Beatdown, especially after that last game. Got to see the old school Chad Rengo get pulled out. It seems like you guys are having a lot of fun.
Dude, it was. And it won a game, which is great. Chad even said before we went live that he knew before that match his Rengar had a 42% win rate. And now it's at 50. So good for him.
Yeah, there we go. I remember the old days of him pulling it out on IMT. It was a lot of fun to see how wild he would get with it. Some of the invades he would, some of these angles on invades he would try. Definitely a very, very risky pick, but fun to see it back on the map again. To that regard, let's pull up the schedule so we can see what's coming up next. We've already finished up 2 series with AoE Lit and DSG versus Fear. Now we're going to finish it off with Wildcard versus Maryville University. Something that kind of feels like a little bit of a preview of CLOL, considering the rosters are basically coming from CLOL. I mean, Maryville University, that is the CLOL squad. You look at Wildcard, you basically have St. Louis University plus Quacker.
Dude, I love these pictures. I like that the players are having a little fun with them, and it's definitely a good look. Wildcard are a team that I think have had their fair share of struggles this split. Those, to their credit, they did 2-0 Team Liquid Challengers in their first match. Yeah. But it's been a little up and down for them. I think this is a team that has been really exciting to watch, though. You got a lot of names we're used to seeing in the scene, and they're scaling.
And their opponents on the Rift will be Maryville University, and this is a squad that it's been quite amazing to see how much they've turned things around. Last year, 8th place, barely avoided relegations. Now they've just bumped up so much. A lot of people will say, hey, they've upgraded their jungle and mid. That's fair. Yuji and Spyrax are absolutely amazing, but you do have to put some respect on Scary Jerry's name. The dude is sitting at the top of all lane stats at 15 minutes. He's averaging 1 death per game, and he still does his share of the damage, still does his share of the weight. Overall, this is a pretty complete squad.
I think so as well, and Scary Jerry and Zyko were the question marks going into this split, but they have pleasantly surprised us. So as a result, I think complete is exactly the way I would also describe this roster and why they're at the top of the standings, right there with FlyQuest Challengers.
All right, we are, I believe, ready to get into draft now, and this game, definitely going to be very curious about it, more on the wildcard side of things, because I feel like a lot of teams have figured out wildcard. 2 of the bans you throw out right away, one is Darius. Quacker's very good at these lane-dominant ghost-using champions who can get in your face. Another one is Senna, which stops the bot lane from opening up, because Doxa does have a lot of quirky picks that he's taken from the top lane pool, from the mid lane pool. Those 2 bans have been crucial for a lot of teams' success versus wildcard.
Sure, and I think also part of the thing with Wildcard is that I think their early game as a team is actually quite good. They have a lot of plays that show very clear intent and usually end up finding a good amount of leads because of it. It's that mid to late game where things get a little dicey for them, where they kind of start to fall apart at times, especially from winning positions. And I think that's the thing they've been looking to kind of clean up the most when it comes to their play. And maybe we'll end up seeing that come through today. And the Senna you talked about does end up getting taken out of the picture because, yeah, you got to pay some respect there.
And the Talia getting banned away, I do think it's a smart thing to ban it away from Maryville in particular, because, yeah, a lot of people are playing into the mid lane. Maryville is one of the teams that will flex it into the jungle as well. So always got to make sure to do your homework, take away those types of champs.
Yeah, 100%. And the only thing I'm looking for now is will Maryville, ban away the Smolder. Especially with Draven out of the picture, I think in the bot lane, those lane dominant picks are a great way to kind of try and deal with him and slow him down. Is that something that Maryville wants to allow through? Is it something they have a potential plan for? Is what I'm looking for.
So one final ban to come out of Maryville University. They are on red side, so this does give them a lot of counter pick potential if they want to keep the Darius up. So they will ban away the Karma. Niles would be very happy to take a counter pick over in the top lane.
Sure, and of course we're going to have a little fun, but I think B1 Darius is probably not the angle, so I am expecting...
It's wildcard, man. I don't know.
Nope. It's going to probably be a power pick, Smolder, Varus, something along those lines. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't fool me.
Look at you.
I'm not the newest guy anymore, you know?
How dare you be reasonable, Beatdown?
Yeah.
First one coming in is going to be Varus. But we'll see what the response for Maryville is. Now, Niles does have Pantheon in the wheelhouse if he does want to go for that. I'm still imagining you're going to save it for later to try and get that counter pick against Quacker.
Oh, he's having a little fun with us there, just like I can see. But in terms of power picks, I mean, the Smolder wasn't grabbed, could easily be picked up here on 1 or 2 for Maryville University. And I'm wondering if that is a champ that, okay, no, it's just going to end up being the Callisto, which is interesting to me just because it's interesting to see some teams prioritize Smolder and some teams not. Because this champion, I think, is very good. And it is even playable in the mid lane. Actually quite good, in my opinion. But instead, it's just going to be a lot of what we've been seeing last year. Varus, Callista, Renata, things like that.
Yeah, it was a recent game that Wildcard had against FlyQuest. They almost came back and took a 2-0 against FlyQuest because of Smolder, because of Aaron being on that champion. But not going to prioritize it this time. This is going to give a very deadly duo to Maryville University. Callista and Renata like to go aggro. They like to try and push for an early lead.
Right. So, I mean, with Scary Zeri and Zyko being players who we talked about very pleasantly surprising us, this is a good look for them. They really improved so much between last split and this one. So seeing them on this lane dominant pick inspires a lot more confidence than it would used to.
All right, we do get that pick of the Udyr. Now going to come in for Wildcard, most likely for Quacker. So getting something powerful over in the top lane, trying to give Niles a harder time when he does come to that counter pick, as well as Darkwings going on something, you know, a little bit more standard with the Orianna in the mid lane.
And this is what we're very used to seeing from Darkwings. Control Mage, Orianna is definitely one of his better champions. And I think her spot in the meta is very secure. So it ends up being a pretty open and shut pick. And you're also going to be able to force out a potential Nocturne ban as well from Maryville's second rotation. Means that it opens up something else you might be looking for.
All right, Hwei gets locked in the moment they see it in the mid lane. It's going to be Spyrax looking to challenge Darkwings. How are we feeling about this? I don't have too much experience on the Hwei, so go ahead and fill me in on how you think this matchup is going to play out.
So I still lean Ori's way when it comes to push and poke, just because of how low her Q cooldown is. And I've only seen this matchup play out one time. So it could play out a little differently, but that's kind of what I'm expecting, just because your cooldowns on Hwei early on, they are a little long. And I think that's part of what's been so good about Orianna. Like, she gets pushed into every mage currently, except maybe Victor once he gets the upgrade. And that's really what you're picking this champion for, on top of the Shockwave.
And, you know, you did say earlier that it is a good champion in the hands of Darkwings. Orianna Victor, 2 of his most played and 2 of his most successful so far. Yeah. And another thing you have to keep in mind is if this mid lane doesn't get shut down, it does give Wildcard a lot of potential because Darkwings brings so much damage towards Wildcard. He's upward towards 35% when it comes to damage share in mid lane, and that's number one. No other mid laner is that close. He really is that big punch for Wildcard's team fight.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually a pretty crazy stat, so props to Darkwings for that. I'm interested in the fact that Maryville actually haven't banned away the Nocturne. So they are okay with that one going through over to Winnie. They're okay with that combination. So maybe they have some kind of response. They could be looking to pick the Valkai as well. So there's that opportunity for Wildcard to get rid of that, should they want to actually go for that duo.
I really do want to see that combo now that Nocturne is available for Wildcard to take, but Maryville, see what they look to go for right here. I mean, it's open for them to take a jungle pick if they so see fit, but they can also go for their top lane. Just flexing around what champions are in the
We're just having fun.
Yeah. Sante, most standard one you can go for. Definitely going to be a brick house over in the top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, there isn't much to say. We see this matchup all the time.
Yeah.
So my interest is where Wildcard are going to round out this draft. And they still have a jungler to pick. They still have a support that they haven't actually gone for yet. The Nocturne, very unsurprising. I'm wondering if we see another all-in champion, even though it's not what we usually see paired with Varus this split or even towards the end of last season. Just something to dive with the Nocturne might actually do Wildcard a lot of good. I mean, Leona's still up and available. think that would end up fitting just fine. You know, something to think about.
Dive buddy in there, right?
Yes, exactly.
Someone who's willing to go deep with you.
Put on the goggles, put on the cap, all that fun stuff.
I would like a Leona just because of the zone control you get. There's so many different champions that really enable that, but instead we're going for the
support!
Nasus. This has been a while since I've seen the Nasus support, but yeah, gonna get locked in for Wildcard.
This is basically the I hate your AD carry support pick, because when you play that into the Callista, it just feels personal, man.
Yeah.
Like you put that Wither on Scary Jerry, he just wants to uninstall. Like, what are you supposed to do? And that's the entire idea, like, behind this pick. It just feels awful to play against this Callista.
I'm trying to remember the last time I saw it. I think it was spring of last year.
I don't
Callista
even remember.
Renata was very, very hot. I think it was the answer to this exact
yeah, maybe it was.
But yeah, this is going to be pretty hard for Scary Jerry to actually be effective in a lot of these fights. Yuji's last pick, however, is going to be the Lee Sin. So getting something that can get momentum on the map early to try and enable this bottom lane. Agreed.
And the thing that's good about it, too, is that you're playing against Nocturne. You want to farm until 6. For the most part, you're not ganking very much. So there are opportunities for Yuji to get the ball rolling for his team, as you highlighted, and that's the idea behind this pick. On top of it, you do have you have big playmaking opportunities, as Lee Sin always does. So Yuji could definitely go for some big hero moments, even in tough situations.
Now, on the opposite side of things, looking at Winnie and Darkwings, I do really, really like this combo beatdown.
Yeah.
I like it when Winnie's on champions that actually do damage. Sometimes when he's on tanks, it feels like he is expecting more damage than he's anticipating. As we take a look at that support Nasus right there. I mean, Winnie and Darkwings together, when they are able to link up on champions, I think that's when we've seen some of the best takes from Wildcard.
For sure, and I think, like, to his credit, I don't think Doxa is a player who relies on cheese picks and it's the only way he's able to find success. He is
likes
actually
them, though.
No, he does like them. And formerly a mid laner, you use that experience to bring out some fun stuff. I respect that. But I do gotta say, I think part of the reason Wildcard's early games have been pretty consistent and successful, in my opinion, is Doxa. I think he's actually just overall, for someone who role swapped last split, he's improved quite a bit in this role. And I think he's been able to find a lot of good roams and impact the map early very effectively.
It's kind of funny if you do think about the reason for his role swap. There's not anything deep about it. There's not anything crazy. It was just St. Louis needed a support, and Doxa was in autofill mode.
He wanted to play, yeah.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, put me on it. I'll do it. And it's been a pleasant surprise. Him and Aaron together have actually been working out quite well, Beat.
They have. I even talked to Scary Jerry earlier this morning about his match and asked him a couple of questions, and he actually gave a shout out to Aaron and Doxa. He's surprised at how good they actually ended up being. They surprised him, and he says the match today should look fun. Yeah, I don't know if Scary Jerry's going to have fun in this specific game, but it's good.
It's a great take from both of these marksmen, because for the most part, right, we already talked about Scary Jerry. Wasn't the most impressive last split. Same thing with Aaron.
He wasn't that good, man. Let's be real.
Yeah, so the same thing with Aaron last year. I mean, he wasn't bad, but he just never really stood out. I just feel like being with Doxa has allowed him to be more creative and given him a little bit more of an edge in the lane. I mean, he's challenged, Sajed and Spawn in some of the previous series that he's played.
And something to add, too, for Jerry, I asked him what he attributed his improvement for with him and Zyko, and what he had said, hold on.
Oh, here we go. Fight breaking out. Yeah, gonna get some flashes out as the bot lane not going the way Wildcard exactly wanted it.
Well, I mean, it will... The first few levels are usually pretty strongly in favor of Callista Renata, so it's fine. But the thing I wanted to add, too, was what Scary Jerry said about how they improved was just that him and Zyko at the end of last year actually sat together, and they just talked it out. He says that he was slumping pretty hard last semester, but believes that he is a very hard worker. And between that and him kind of working it out with Zyko is really, that's really the biggest contributors to what we see now. A very strong bot lane.
That's kind of part of the Maryville mindset, the camaraderie they have. It's always nice to hear about the type of friendships they really have and how they come together. Well, as we take a look at the map right now, clearing out his red buff, it's going to be Winnie. Does get the full clear. Of course, try to get to 6 as fast as possible. Does mean you get that paranoia, which is when a Nocturne starts to become really effective.
Yeah. And of course, like we were saying, that means Yuji has opportunities to be able to get around the map and actually go for some plays. Right now, he's thinking about this play of the Scuttle Crab, and he's probably just going to get it because, one, Zyko can offer more to these skirmishes than Doxa can, and trying to steal away things from a Lee Sin is kind of hard, man. The missing health damage on the Q2, pretty good.
Lee Sin early on, really good champion. The only downside is, like, once you get to late game, you're basically just looking for those fancy kicks, and that's about it. So that means that Yuji has to really press the gas pedal towards the early and mid game if he really wants to get Maryville going well.
All right, the first clear going to be pretty normal. In fact, I think he is just going to go ahead and hit his respawn Raptors before resetting. Oh no, he's actually showing up topside.
Yeah, here comes Winnie. Gets the tethers onto Niles. Niles does burn the ghost, but we'll be able to shield up, absorb a lot of that damage, and be A-okay.
Yeah, and Yuji, I like that he stayed on the map. I like that he's showing up here to just help get this wave in. It is spotted out with that ward and the tribe rush, but ultimately, just the thing that matters is that this wave gets in. They don't actually need to look for any fight. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, Yuji waited this out. Going after Quacker. I mean, you still got the Q3 to get an additional damage. Nice big wave right there, but see right there, Quacker's going to stop this from just outright hitting the tower.
Yeah, and as Niles, you just got to accept that and back it up. Oh.
Ooh, nice handshake coming out of Zyko, but unable to press the advantage. That wither right onto Scary Jerry means you can't really do too much after that.
Yeah, but the cooldown, I mean, it's on cooldown now, so you feel pretty good, and you're still able to stack this wave. So this is still a big advantage coming through from Scary Jerry and Zyko on this bottom side, and it's the reason Yuji is just going for the grubs. Doesn't actually want to try and contest this Drake.
Already gotten two of them. Niles is headed into this direction. That would leave him by himself. Spyrax has the first foot onto the river. Now Niles is by his lonesome. Will hop over to Yuji. And the final grub will go back over to Wildcard.
Yeah, and so it's good for Yuji because if he gets the next three, then he'll be able to get the Void Might spawning, because that means Maryville will have 5. Plus, as we saw in the first series of the day 2, Nocturne getting grubs is actually really big for him.
Ooh, there's no ghost this time, but still able to dash forward on the minion wave. Niles will be fine once again, and Winnie burns his flash for nothing.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Niles got the max range E to be able to break the tether, and it feels bad. And Winnie, usually we don't see ganks from a Nocturne, but I mean, Winnie is that type of player. We've known him to be super aggressive. Yep. Something we said last year was Winnie doesn't see a fight that he doesn't like. And I gotta say, it's led to some pretty amazing moments back when he was on the AoE roster. Whoa. And honestly, some pretty good ones here too, even though Wildcard are 2 and 3.
See Niles going all out over in the top lane against Quacker. Trying to hard push the wave. It seems like the setup will be bot lane focused potentially. Zyko and Scary Jerry now breaking out alongside Yuji.
And now it's going to be that first Drake coming through. So I like it. Yuji denied some of the grubs from Winnie, and because his bot lane just have a pretty big advantage so far, it's going to be easy to Drake stack as well. Drake stacking something I'm expecting to be very important for the side of MU. And at the very least, being able to deny that from Wildcard is important, because once Winnie gets to level 6, him and Darkwing have a combo that will make objective fights very dangerous.
Right now, attempted play coming into the bottom lane. They're going to eat a bit of damage trying to walk just back into their lane. Yuji doesn't continue the momentum, and now Aaron and Doxa trying to play their favor towards the lane.
Oh yeah, they're stacking one now. They lost some health in that trade, so it's going to be easy for that one to go in. Right now, though, things have slowed back down. We actually haven't seen any kills just yet, but now that Yuji's hit level 6, thanks to those early grubs. One of his camps. Oh, yeah.
Ooze.
Oh, yeah.
Flash available for Aaron. He's got to be quick on this. Timing is everything. Flash comes out. Yuji doesn't continue with the chase. Handshake pulls him right back in. Doxa in a bad way. There comes the Fate's call. Doxa dead to right. Scary Jerry grabs first blood.
I mean, that's got to feel great. You don't even have to use the Dragon's Raids for Yuji. You have the opportunity to make another play somewhere else. All this does is mean that in response, Winnie is going to be able to just go ahead and take the Raptors from Yuji. But I mean, it isn't much. And right now, oh yeah.
Spyrax going in. Yuji right behind him. A big chunk of damage. Takes about 2/3 of the health bar of Dark Wings, earns his flash in the process.
I mean, yeah, that's 2 big plays coming through from Yuji in like less than 30 seconds. Now, he's in a little bit of trouble, maybe, because Winnie has hit 6. Dark Wings could still throw a ball on him.
Be careful. Even though you do get that Fear Tether, all that, Spell Shield, it's Spyrax who will get that first move. So Winnie instantly backs off, goes back to farming, has the Paranoia. Now Beat, where is Winnie going to use it? Where is he going to attack?
My eyes are on mid lane, partially because Hui is very much like Orianna in that he is very vulnerable as well to these all-in dive type of champions, because once your flash is down, you have no mobility to speak of. So it could be mid. I think bot lane is a little dangerous because you have the bailout from Zyko. You have the ultimate, the hostile takeover as well. Makes diving kind of dangerous.
Not exactly the easiest thing to dive Cassante as well.
Yeah. I'm thinking mid lane. I'm just going to go ahead and lock that one in.
I like that as well, just because if you do finish off that turret and you do free up this wave, that means Dark Wings can start roaming out alongside Winnie. And again, that's where I do like most of the positions of Wildcard, when Winnie and Dark Wings are synced up.
And right now, Winnie will be able to get these 3 grubs, meaning that nobody gets 5. So nobody gets the Void Mites. And it just means Winnie's going to be able to get a little extra golden experience to his name. Yuji, though, first Dragon's Rage. Remember, Doxa has no flash. You have the information. Winnie's topside.
Ooh, nice flash coming out of Baron, but a better one from Yuji sends him to Spyrax. And now Doxa, these are shark-infested waters, and Scary Jerry rends them down for another kill.
Yeah, a great roam coming through from Spyrax as well. Yeah, he's going to drop some waves mid. You can already see the deficit starting to grow there. He's down 14 CS. I mean, that's absolutely worth it. You have this Kalista, who you've gotten 2-0. I think that's completely fine.
You're taking a look at this dive. Again, you said it. Doxa doesn't have flash. Aaron does, but Yuji's in the right position to still punish.
Yeah, and I mean, all you have to do is, because Aaron has to respect Yuji by flashing, all Yuji has to do is kind of chill and be like, all right, when he flashes, great, I can kick flash. Nice and easy.
Nice use of the bailout, denies even a slither of gold for Wildcard. Now 1.6k in the lead for Maryville University, as it's 50 seconds before the dragon comes up, and it's Wildcard who have positioning on the river.
Even though Wildcard do have the first look, if Dark Wings goes down...
Oh no.
Ooh. Oh my god.
Oh, 45 health remains for Dark Wings. Almost gets soloed by Spyrax.
So Dark Wings does have teleport. Oh, hold on.
Wait, Winnie's in a bad way. Yuji jumps onto him, has to flash out to avoid the execute damage. Now full pressure coming out for Maryville University in the mid lane.
You can just see Maryville, they're winning on all fronts essentially. Spyrax and Yuji went out big time mid lane. Scary Jerry and Zyko, with the gold that they've earned both in lane and with that dive, are running bot lane. Means that this Drake is going to be theirs. And it's not just going to be one Drake, they're going to be stacking to their own soul as well.
This is the win condition that you wanted from Maryville University the moment you saw this draft. We were expecting Scary Jerry and Zyko to be aggressive, to get kills down there, and for Yuji to help set that up. Now Maryville University is sitting about 2k, which is growing even more. 2 dragons on top of it. MU take a lead.
Yeah, very early stacking as well. We now have the confirmation. It is a Cloud Soul, which is always very useful, especially for champs like the Lee Sin, the Kalista. That extra move speed will be so huge for them in team fights when you use your ultimates. So now, Wildcard are on a bit of a timer, because if that soul goes through, game gets significantly harder for them. But it's even tougher too, because this bot lane, that counter pick we saw from Doxa really isn't panning out. You can see he's really behind in experience. He's been killed twice. And the hope is that later on, if the rest of Wildcard are trying to make a play onto Scary Jerry, then you can throw that Wither on him, and then that's how you win out fights. Because I mean, it's worth noting, Scary Jerry is pretty much this whole gold lead, guys. I mean, we can even look right now.
Take a look.
Oh, wow. Yeah, who could have guessed? So if you do throw everything in the kitchen sink at him, and he dies. You're back.
You see that when he's coming down to the bottom lane, he was spotted by a ward in the lane. So Maryville have the heads up on this, and it was Scary Jerry who backed up preemptively. Baits out the ultimate. Baits call means nothing for Wildcard.
I mean, that's got to feel good. So now Yuji feels pretty fine about going for this play.
Oh, Shockwave goes off. It takes enough from Yuji that he doesn't want to be the one to front the play in the Dragon's Pit. Darkwings will stay alive, but Maryville University is still circling the pit. Gonna take the rest of Wildcard getting over here to try and get Darkwings out alive, but here comes the fight nonetheless. When he goes deep, and it's far too deep, Psycho will take him out. And just like that, Maryville University, they get kill number 4 with nothing answered back from Wildcard. Fight over in the top lane, a little bit of a skirmish between Quacker and Niles. Doxa sees an ankle, and Aaron's arrow will get a kill for WC.
And finally, Wildcard are able to get an answer back, but I like Maryville's willingness to really force the situation there. Oh, goodbye, Doxa.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's going down.
Unless?
Good timing on the flash, but nope. There's no Hue, and Spyrax will get that kill while Scary Jerry gets third in the bot lane.
And again, Maryville, and they're just running away with this early game. Forcing out, or rather baiting out Winnie's ultimate means they have this big window where they feel very comfortable about looking for these skirmishes and these fights. And you can see how much success they've been able to find as a result. Wildcard, Winnie's going to be able to get the Rift Herald on the top side, which is a small consolation. As long as he's able to actually secure that one, mid-tier 1, maybe top-tier 1, there is an angle for Wildcard to get some gold back into their pockets. Much needed.
The hard shove from Quacker gives priority over to Wildcard, who set foot onto the river. As you were talking about, that Rift Herald can give some gold back. It's just a shame there's not going to be any tower plates to really, exacerbate that gold, accentuate that gold. I don't know what the word is, but get that rodeo going. They need to take down a tower, and they need to start getting income back.
You could just say increase their gold.
Thank you. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes you overthink it.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes the simple words are best, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Maryville, I'm sorry, I don't actually have a way to bring that one back, but Maryville are in a great spot. Hey, look, man, I already did my part.
Kind of what it is.
Yeah, close enough.
I mean, what? The goal was get Scary Jerry rolling. He's rolling.
Yeah.
Going fast.
He's rolling. Spyrax is rolling. Everything feels great if you're Maryville. The only thing now is Winnie's ultimate's back up. So that's an opportunity for Wildcard to make a play. That's why you're seeing members of Maryville hang out mid lane.
Ooh. Keep in mind, Dox is a support Nasus, so he can't take that much damage. Spyrax goes on a killing spree.
Yeah, he's going the AP build as well, so really nothing in the way of resistances. And every time he uses that ult, he's just increasing the... What's the stat post-game? Damage taken stat. That's really all it's good for.
Make it grow. It's one way to pad your stats, I guess.
Not really a stat anyone looks at, but yes. Yes, it is.
You don't know. Maybe Alorum looks at that stat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alorum plays... He's different. I don't know what he's looking at. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Setup coming over towards the mid lane right now as Maryville University look to punish Aaron. They get out his flash. Maryville with the setup each and every time. Punished Wildcard. We're not done. Quacker versus Niles. Quacker goes on the chase, but Maryville are starting to pinch onto him.
Yeah.
Going after the duck in the river. Still has that movement speed, so Quacker will escape.
And this is going to be a pretty easy dragon take. The thing that... Oh, excuse me. The thing is, Wildcard, it's really hard for them to skirmish right now. Their comp basically has 2 modes. We really want to fight, we need to leave immediately. There really is no in-between. And the problem with that is because of this Nasus. You have no real way to create space, and because they can just jump on you anytime like this.
Big team fight angle coming out for Maryville University, going deep into the fight. It's going to be Niles, finds an all-out onto Aaron, looking to solo Aaron by himself. Will get the kill. Shockwave goes off from Darkwings, but it's not enough. The backline's starting to fall. Darkwings in front, gets damage onto Spyrax, but here comes Scary Jerry, left and right, weaving away, even with the Wither. He'll be able to slip back out, turns onto Darkwings. The damage is there, but Wildcard do not want to front it. Instead, Maryville will take position on the map, going after the mid lane tower.
Oh, and it's going to be theirs, Eric. It is going to be theirs. They're just continuing to run away with this game. It just feels like there are so very few answers for Wildcard. Again, partially because look how easy it is to jump on these guys. This isn't just the gold lead. It's because when you go for a support like the Nasus and the rest of your comp is really lacking in CC, they're not afraid to walk at you. The only hope is to try and use your comp's strength, the Nocturne Ori combo. The problem is, we didn't actually see that come through because Darklings was hit by the hostile takeover. And if you can't even execute on that, the team fight's not going to go your way.
Not to mention Aaron getting soloed by Niles, all while that
I mean,
happened.
that's just the K'Sante moment. I'm sorry, man.
If you don't have your sums as Varus, how are you escaping? You're getting K'Sante. Period.
Yeah.
Now, look at this angle over towards the top side. Objective bounty claimed by Darkwings, but will it cost him his life? Yuji thinks so. As he gets closer to Darkwings, the handshake doesn't pull him into the angle for the Dragon's Rage. Niles teleports in. Maryville University assert their authority, but it cost them a teleport.
Right, and that's, I mean, something. But Maryville, they're not going to take this for nothing. Oh?
Shockwave out, but there's no team fight to follow up. You don't really have too much there for Wildcard.
It's the wave. They do it to get rid of the wave. I think it's a good call from Darkwings. Make it so that Niles TP is basically for nothing. Because what I was expecting was that it was going to be at least something gained here. And because of that stalling, Quacker was able to get a turret on the other side, as we're seeing announced on the screen. So I think overall that's smart. In a small way, Wildcard have reduced the deficit they were in. Not by much, but by about 1,000, maybe a little more gold. But we still have the same problem of not being able to posture for neutral objectives because Maryville could just jump on top of you. Basically, you just have to full send it whenever you have an angle.
And a lot of these team fight angles, I do worry for Wildcard because the moment you use the Shockwave, that's pretty much the bulk of the team fight damage for what you have. Everything else is being set up by piercing arrows from Aaron, because he has gone for this lethality build. And that doesn't give you as much when Maryville are forcing team fights every time they see you.
No, you want to play it slow, get your spells off, basically off cooldown. It's kind of what you're looking to get done here, but it hasn't been able to work for them so far. And now they're staring down the barrel of a Dragon Soul in about 1:40. And you can already see they're trying to do their best, set up topside, clear up as much vision as they can in hopes that they have an angle to make it happen. And even potentially go for a fight topside here.
Oh, here we go, fight gonna break out, turning on to Winnie. Winnie's trying to run away, but here comes Scary Jerry right on his tail, will rip him apart. Now, Fate's called as Zyko jumps in, goes after Darkwings, but it's enough to pick off the jungler because the big purple worm is on the map.
Yeah, and you have a Callista, you're going to be able to take this one pretty quickly, and you're going to be able to secure it very easily with the Rend and the Smite. For Wildcard, they have tools to work with. They could try to force them off it. This would be the tool MU needs to close out this game one. They got to try.
Ooh, Zyko goes right onto Aaron, and Aaron gets destroyed. Maryville University claimed the purple worm without any resistance to be met. Niles leads the charge, wants to go after Quacker, gets right into his face, and you can run as fast as you can. You can try the trick 2G, but it's you who will be later as Scary Jerry goes unstoppable. It's Maryville University on the map.
And they, because of those Baron empowered recalls, they're going to be able to get off the map just as quickly. Even though they're a little later than normal, they're basically right on time to go ahead and secure their Dragon Soul. Maryville, I mean, it's just been all MU, all of game one. Eric, there aren't very many ways Wildcard are going to be able to get back into this one. We've only seen one instance, I believe, of the Orianna Nocturne combo actually going through. And it didn't really end up happening. And yeah, I guess we got the update on the stats for Doxa's Q stacks. But I mean, from what I've heard, you're not even. They just say don't even bother skilling Q when you're playing Nasus support. Your Q damage doesn't matter, you know.
That's Dragon Soul for Maryville University, grabbed with nothing to really be answered for. I mean, Wildcard. I really do see them as a Shockwave, nothing else. Winnie was never able to get going. Here comes Yuji onto Quacker. Quacker will still be able to get away, but like, what do you have? Where's your damage? Where's your team fight? It's just not there for Wildcard.
Nope. And it's all there for Maryville University. And they're just going to keep knocking down turret after turret. Darkwings is trying to get priority, at least in topside. He's going to have to recall. Maybe Yuji's caught.
Yuji, they're going after him. Chain of Corruptions will land on the Yuji. Here comes the Dragon's Rage. He's going to be all right, but maybe not the same for Aaron, who gets pulled in by the handshake. Wildcard looking for a last stand, but the teleports of Maryville University showing up fresh from St. Louis. The chase on the Dark Wings, and now here comes Scary Jerry over the wall. A marksman does not care. There is no danger, for he is the danger. Scary Jerry gets a double kill. Yuji chases it out for another, and Maryville University will end the game.
And that's going to be it. We're looking at 25 minutes in a season where games go longer than they did last year. And Maryville have just closed the book on game one as quickly as we opened it.
Turret number 1 falls, turret number 2 to follow. Maryville University currently in first place, one of the hardest teams to stop. Well, right now, trying to delay the inevitable is going to be Wildcard.
Oh, okay, they're going to back it up.
And they will get Maryville out of their base, but again, it is inevitable what Maryville University are about to do.
Yeah, and I will say, since we're on the topic of game time, an interesting thing that I was looking at when I was checking stats is that Maryville actually do have the lowest average game time in Challengers League right now. Wow. It's like 30 minutes, 40 seconds on average, and the next highest was just under 32 minutes. So, to be fair, we talk about strength of schedule. Maryville, a lot of their earlier games, teams on the bottom half of the standings. They still have to play teams like FlyQuest, for example, who they're playing next weekend. I want to say Saturday, but I don't remember.
No, yeah, it is next weekend. That's the...
Yeah, there you go. So they're playing them next weekend. But I mean, the fact that Maryville, despite that, are still able to have such short game time is really a testament to the growth that this team has had, both in Scary Jerry and Psycho and this new mid-jungle.
Everyone say goodbye to Aaron. He safeguards to get within range of the Sonic Wave, and a beautiful Dragon's Rage knocks Aaron to the skies, and it'll be one more kick to break the jaw. Now Niles jumps in with the all-out 3-on-1. He does not care. Yuji will show up, and it's a top jungle that will be heard. Yuji follows on to Winnie. Winnie goes on to retreat, tries to find his way out of this, but the same can't be found for his teammates. They are getting decimated. They are getting destroyed. They are feeling the wrath of Maryville University as they'll take game number 1 of this best of 3.
And in dominating fashion, they're going to have a little fun with Winnie before the wave comes through. But Maryville, 11,000 gold ahead. Only 2 deaths across the entire team. They make a statement game 1.
Only 2 deaths, as you said. It was just absolute domination, man. I mean, as I said, the game plan was very, very straightforward, right? Yuji on the Lee Sin, make plays early. In the bottom lane, absolutely dominate with that Kalista Renata.
And that pick for Doxa didn't end up really working out. They took advantage of the fact that you didn't really have much CC. All this Nasus is working with is the Wither, and it made them pretty vulnerable to getting engaged on throughout the rest of the game.
Well, Maryville University seem unstoppable as we head into game number 2. We will be right back because we got more league action coming your way. Introducing the new footlong sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious footlong cookie, footlong pretzel, or footlong churro.
Before this guy won this, he actually won this. And now these guys, they're trying to do the same.
He's looking for the killer instinct. He's going in. He finds 2. He finds 3.
Masu, you are utterly ridiculous. This guy is also trying to do what that guy did. And he didn't win one of those, but he did win this.
Welcome to the new era. A toast to our champions, disguised.
This guy played 1 split of LCS and then made semis at Worlds.
It's been a long journey, but I'm happy to be here now.
He's always been really good, but he finally made the comeback. Oh, and he did it with this guy. This guy won Academy, and he had some dreams.
I want to be like the best NA mid laner to go to Worlds, right?
Dokla, however, very, very low. Reinforced by the Zen ultimate, and the Pop Blossom is so awesome!
This kid? Yeah, this kid. He actually didn't win an Academy, but a lot of people thought he was good, and boy, were they right. This guy made Worlds his very first year as a player. It took him a while to get back. He even played with this kid. But then, They did all of this together.
Nobody thought they'd win LCS. Nobody thought they'd beat G2. It's time to change your mind.
You know all of these names, but do you know the names of who's next? The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS. Welcome to Challengers.